It's time to put your costume on and listen to the Longcast.
Welcome to the LongCon podcast, where we take an hour of your time to talk conventions, cosplay, and other facets of geek culture. I'm Kevin.
I'm Nick.
Jessica.
I'm Adi.
And I'm Dale.
This is our guest Adi.
Or Dale. He said his name was Dale.
Hey, okay, this is our guest Dale. Adi's been with us plenty of times.
Yeah.
Adi, why don't you introduce yourself?
I already did.
Like more than just your name.
I'm Dale. I live in Georgia. I'm a regular attendee at DragonCon. I am sort of light in cosplay by comparison to present company, but I have been getting sort of ambitious lately in my project.
That's because you weigh like 100 pounds compared to the rest of us weighing 200 and something.
Well, I
You've been
appreciate
building muscle mass, though.
Yep.
That actually transitions really well into what I was going to talk about. So, fitness was the next topic.
The first topic?
Adi, introduction. Next topic, fitness. Because that's what you've been doing.
Well, we're all in shape, because
Round's a shape.
Round is a shape.
Round is a shape.
Well, I suppose a straight line is also a shape, but I'm fairly certain I learned it against that in geometry.
Mhm.
I need at least 3 lines to make a shape.
And you've been bulking up for Zevran specifically, or
Mostly.
just to get healthy?
It was a get healthy thing, right? Like, I'm 27 now, and I've got a lot of friends who are in their 30s and mid-30s who are having kids, and they were sort of talking to me about how their life had changed, and they weren't able to get in shape, and their weight had fluctuated, and they didn't feel young anymore because they weren't taking as good care of themselves because of all the strain of being a parent and getting older.
Mhm.
And I sort of thought to myself one day that I'm 27 now. I've been a rail my entire life. And at some point, I want to know what it is like to not be a rail. And so I figured I should get started before, things get really difficult. And so,
It's interesting that you went that way instead of just eating lots of cake. I'd rather just eat 50 cakes and see what that's like.
well, it's true, but I mean, like, how many chances in your life do you really have to get a 6-pack abs, right? Like,
Every time you go to the grocery store.
Yes, I'd like a 6-pack of abs, please. Aisle 3.
Yeah, don't you just press your stomach up against the chain link fence and then back up?
Oh, there are some of those things out there. Hold on, let me see if I can find those things.
So I mentioned Zevran. That's how we know you. In 2013, like last year, DragonCon, we met Adi, and he was dressed as Zevran. Is it Aranai?
Zevran Adonai, yes.
Okay, and yeah, that's from Dragon Age. So that's how we met him. And when my girlfriend played Dragon Age, she literally called Zevran Adi because she knew Adi first. So that was kind of interesting.
I think I would retcon him and be like, if he's in Inquisition, it'll just be Adi.
Probably.
It
So
would certainly be hilarious, and I would have to bake a ton of cookies for BioWare.
So you have some armor progress that you've wanted to kind of show us for a while, and then when we found out you're going to be a guest, it was like, no, keep it under wraps. We'll find out when you show us on the podcast. So
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to bust that stuff out, but according to my schedule, the time is now.
when we found out you were going to be, from our producers that we have.
Actually, I'd be happy to show you guys, but first I want to preface it and let you guys know that I have never done any leather work before. Like, this is my first attempt at it. And you guys saw my Sevron last year, but all of that was craft foam. And I'd managed to resurface it, and it was obviously a budget costume, and it didn't look great. At least I didn't think it looked great. But I was able to get a lot of guidance from people in the Dragon Age group. For example, Diana was very helpful. Roland was very helpful. Roland was always on hand to answer questions about carving up the leather and how to tool it or paint it. And as far as Deanna, she actually invited me and Kyle, who is Ogren from the Dragon Age group. And we went down there, and she helped me learn how to waterform leather. And so a great amount of what I've accomplished has been thanks to help and guidance from the Dragon Age group, and I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. But if you guys would like to see the big reveal,
Do you want to show what your
Take it
one
off.
from last year looked like?
Sure.
Never mind.
I
Sorry.
didn't hear what you said. Dale, you sent me a link.
Yeah, that too.
Is that to Six Pack Abs?
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, just show us the Zebron stuff. Sorry. So that was from last year. I should probably pull up that picture because I do have a picture.
Dun, 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 dun.
Boom, 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 boom.
Dramatic music, I get it.
On my Tumblr.
It's on a hanger now because it is kind of bulky,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
this is New Zebra.
Yay!
It's looking pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's all gold paint. It's been dyed already. I haven't put the clear coat on it yet, so the leather doesn't have the leathery sheen that it should. I haven't painted up the pauldrons yet, but they're all one piece, and they're attached to a separate center seam. Sorry, that's there. So there's a bridge between the front and the back, because I'm obviously a lot fatter now than I was before. But, yeah. It's waterformed, there's lacing on the sides that tie together, and I'm actually a little bit concerned, because with some of the weight I've gained, the armholes might not be big enough for my shoulders. But there is a little bit of flex here, so we'll see what happens.
Cool.
And this is most of what I've got done. I'm working on the waist guard, but that isn't in any state of assembly that I'm comfortable showing it off.
Well, it's looking great so far.
Oh, thanks, guys. I'm glad you appreciate it.
Did you just watch a bunch of tutorials on how to do leatherworking, or just from? Well, I know he's talking to people in the group, but talking to people isn't enough.
It isn't. I actually went to Tandy Leather, and they're a huge resource in and of themselves. Everyone there is very resourceful and very good at instructing you on how to use leather. And so when I went there, there was a guy named Chuck, I think was the manager here at the store I go to in Georgia. He actually took me into the back and showed me how to use all of the little tools that are required to tool up the leather. For example, they've got like a beveler that rounds off the edges, a couple of edgers, and a swivel knife that's used to carve patterns into leather, and then a couple of tools that you can hammer down to make impressions into the leather. And all of that stuff allows for a very expensive initial cost when you start leatherworking.
Mm-hmm.
But the leather itself is just as versatile as something like foam. You can do almost anything with it. You can stitch it, you can sew it, you can glue it, you can form it with water, which is a lot safer than using a heat gun because I've scalded myself a few times. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
Sound like a Daft Punk song.
Sorry. I mean, everyone appreciates
No, it's
that.
all good. You know the song I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, and yes, that was us last year with that
That's
terrible,
the picture from
terrible
last
wig.
year. That's the two of us. I don't know where you chumps are.
I wish my picture with Adi was on there because it's better.
Well, I was probably putting some.
We were making eyes at each other.
Yes, that's true.
Find that one.
Yeah, last year I remember, and I don't know, all of my pictures from last year sort of hit me right here because I'm just like, I wish I had done better things with the wig. When I had literally, the wig was complete afterthought. I'd purchased it, and it had arrived literally I think a week before the con.
Everybody remembers you for being very in character, though. So,
well,
you can forget a lot of details or a lack of details, but people remember being in character, and I am never in character.
And then, after everything you said in character, going out of character just to assure people that you really weren't.
Yeah, Jen.
Oops.
No, it was funny.
It was great.
I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where when you're improvising, when you're trying to ham it up, right? I have a couple friends in improv, and what they tell me is if you do not feel the urge to stop and apologize profusely, you have not gone far enough. And so, and that's one of the rules of improv, right? Like when you're in like an improv show or you're on stage improving, there's no such thing as too far. Right, like you can't take the ball and run too far with it. Like, the more ridiculous and out of here you get,
sitting over there like challenge accepted. You should get into improv so you can push the limit.
I mean, he already is Varric, though. So I feel like the Dragon Age guys should just follow Dale for their improv.
Mhm. And then Dale can tell a story and give everybody nicknames like he always does.
Yep.
So E3 happened.
Yeah,
A lot of E3 happened.
it did.
And if we want to be a proper transition here, or go through a proper transition, Dragon Age Inquisition had some trailers.
I'm very excited.
And
Like,
did you see the trailer, Jess?
I may have glanced at the TV while it was on.
Okay, and Dale, you made a point of not seeing anything.
I don't see anything ever.
I've seen some of
You
the
don't want it
material.
ruined for you, right? That's your reasoning?
Well, I'll figure everything out, and then it won't be fun for me anymore.
Fair enough.
Or it'll be like, oh my god, I got 2 more fucking months to wait. I'm
Yeah.
gonna kill someone.
Yeah.
Or 1 year.
Dragon Con last year, Bill sat in with us for the what was it? The presentation for Inquisition with Gator and Aiden, and they showed us like the stuff that they were showing at PAX East, or not PAX East, PAX Prime, and at the end, like right before they kicked us out, it showed on the screen like fall 2014, and Dale just swore really loudly because he found out he had to wait so long before the game came out.
I don't want to know about. I want to be like, oh, it could be around the corner at any time. Oh no, you got a year to wait. Well, fuck. I wanted to forget about it and be like, holy shit, it's out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of follow that philosophy with both Game of Thrones books, with Dresden Files books, and video games I'm really looking forward to. I just try not to think about it until it gets there, but occasionally I'll troll through the blogs and see something that's really interesting. For example, the dragon fight,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah, that was one of the things I actually got to play when I was visiting.
yeah,
So, and I mean, they basically built that up. That was the thing they really wanted to show this year. So that's why they were like, here, you can look at that. That's a thing.
I honestly was really, really interested by the animation. The animation is beautiful.
Yeah, it's really
You
good.
know what, the Frostbite 2 engine now?
Frostbite 3, I believe.
Oh,
2 was Battlefield 3.
right.
So, might have still been Battlefield 4. I'm not sure on that one exactly, but yeah, when I was there, I was curious as to like what all the animators like. How are you doing with this new engine? And they're like, it's great. And then the only problem they were having it would occasionally crash.
Yeah.
Frostbite 3 is closed, and
It's the
yeah,
little engine that couldn't.
what?
Never mind.
No, I didn't hear fully what you said.
I said it's the little engine that couldn't sometimes.
Yeah, it kind of was a little bit. But they said from an artistic standpoint, the capabilities that they had are far and above. I can't remember the Eclipse engine, I think, is what they were running before. And one of the examples they said was, we can actually make a character step out of shadow or into shadow now. And that can say a lot as far as filmmaking goes. So considering they're a very story-driven company, that means a lot that they can do stuff with lighting and cinematography. So,
I mean, and that's one of the things that's kind of missing in the previous 2 games, right? Like, the previous 2 games are exceedingly well written, and they're wonderful games, but going back and playing Dragon Age Origins, which has been out for, what, 5, 6 years now? It's
Jess doesn't like Origins that much.
No,
it's a little painful. It's a little painful, I can't lie.
They were rough for even the time period that game came out.
No, it's true, and same thing for
You
original
need a
Mass
graphical
Effect, right?
installation for the for an upgrade for the PC. They actually have a high-res texture pack and stuff.
Well, the textures can only do so much, though, man. Like,
But
with
now the detail they have now is really, really good. I guess
yeah, like looking at the differences in Varric alone between like the new trailers and the in-game cinematics now versus what he looked like in Dragon Age 2 is just kind of astounding. Like he has stubble that's not just shading.
Okay, I am curious, Dale, since you're a resident Varric, what do you like, the old design or do you like the new design better?
He didn't see the trailer.
I know he didn't, but he's seen the character model.
Well, I guess I say I like the old design because then I don't have to build anymore.
So the lazy man approach.
Yeah, but I do like the new design just because it does seem to give them more texture and more, fill them out a bit.
do you like the armor better, or do you like a lack of armor?
Well, it's like I explained last time, or 2 times ago. It made sense that he didn't have any armor while in Kirkwall because it was
Yeah.
moving around. Where now he's in an actual war or something, so more armor makes sense.
Well, hopefully they lift a little bit of the hamburger out, right?
You do have the option to turn that on or off. I think you might get it off.
What?
There's chest
Wasn't that something that people were like actively fighting against?
I'm not kidding. There was a thing like, are we going to be able to see Varric's chest hair?
It's a
And
slider.
somebody said there is an option. You can go classic Varric, or you can go new Varric.
And then you drag the slider in it.
That's like a new Coke, though. You can't
Yeah.
do that. Like, it was like the response to Zevran's cameo in Dragon Age 2, where they completely changed the model because they couldn't bring in the old one, and everyone was just like,
Well, it was the same for Alistair. There was like a huge backlash, and I'm like,
well, I mean, with
Alistair,
Alistair, with Alistair and Liliana, I think they actually ported in the original models and just did some subtle texture changes to try to make it not look out of place. But it still looked like the 1980 special effects superimposition where someone wasn't even in the frame. You know, like the Parent Trap from like the 70s and 80s, where they're obviously supposed to be the same person, but one of them is clearly not there.
Or the Rancor in Return of the Jedi, where there's that big black line around it.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what Alistair looked like in 2. Like, it just, he clearly didn't belong in the frame, and it was just really weird because the shading was off. And
well, the new model looks good for Inquisition, so I'm happy about that. I
I'm
can't
looking
speak
forward to
for
seeing it.
Zebron or anything because I haven't seen that.
I don't think Zevron's actually in Inquisition, which makes me sad.
I don't know, honestly. And even if I did, I probably wouldn't be able to say because it's not an officially announced thing. So
But then
Yeah.
you won't have to upgrade your armor like Dale.
yeah, there you go.
Sorry, Dale. Some of us get all the breaks.
I gotta figure out how to do this sometime, anyways, because he's in the comic book.
Dale, I do have a draft set up in my Gmail account. I'm adding like a bunch of tutorials in there, so I haven't forgotten about sending you that stuff.
I'm pretty sure there's less than 70 days until DragonCon.
Why?
Say that.
I have it on my
I'm
calendar.
excited because convention, but I'm not excited because work.
Because
Nick, I think you
Yeah, because
them.
Yeah, like, did anyone else hear like the collective sighs of pained agony and stress from Kevin, Dale, and myself all at once?
yeah,
Like, Nick, why do you do this? Why do you hurt your friends?
at the same time, we want it to be Dragon Con because we want it to be hang out with friends time.
yeah.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, man. Like, Dragon Con is like the one con that is most intensely social out of all of the cons I have attended. Like,
Come up with us to our special
Yeah, come to
Chicago
C2E2.
cons.
Yeah.
well, I'm considering going to Colossal Con next year, so you guys should meet me there. It's in the middle. It's in the middle. Come on. You want to hang out with Audie? Special Audie hangout time at a hotel with a pool park.
God save me, I do want to hang out with you.
Hotel with a pool park. I think pool park. I prefer pool park to water park now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a pool, and then it has slides, right? It's really just an enormous pool with a fake beach. So it's a pool park.
We have the Wisconsin Dells, which is all pool parks. We know.
I should have used the word water park. I'm just bad at English.
Daisho Con was at the Kalahari, and Colossal Con is at the Kalahari. It's just, in
Further south, where it's warm.
Yeah.
And you have biscuits.
What
Yes.
about biscuits?
It's Ohio. They have biscuits.
Oh.
It's not like biscuit heaven, apparently, or whatever.
I'm good with biscuits. I live in Georgia. Of course I love biscuits.
I should
And gravy.
I should make some biscuits.
Oh, great. Gotta go on about cooking now. Well,
you had my biscuits, haven't you?
yeah. Why?
The biscuits?
That metaphor's going somewhere terrible, guys.
You took it that place. I was just literally talking about golden, flaky, delicious biscuits.
You take my
Uh-huh. Sure. You've had my biscuits, haven't you?
Yeah.
No, Kevin, no one's buying that.
well buttered Kevin.
The best story we have of him cooking is he goes, "Hey Dale, have you eaten any of my pretzels yet?" As I'm eating the pretzel he gave me that he made.
It was. No, that was later in the day, wasn't it? It was at the con, and I realized, oh yeah, I gave you a pretzel in the car.
What was the meat one when you were in Chicago and I called you and I was like,
The bacon explosion?
yeah. I called him. He was in Chicago working on some bacon.
It is a pound of bacon that you bacon weave, and then you put a pound of Italian sausage down, and then you fry a pound of bacon and you sprinkle it on the top, and there's like, dry rub and barbecue sauce involved. And you roll it up in a meat log.
Something that should have been a bacon fest.
And then you put it on a smoker for 2 hours, or I just had a little grill. And then that's it. But Nick called me, well, I have my hands in a pound of meat, like ground meat, and I'm mushing it up. And my friend Eric was there, and I'm like, Eric, reach into my pocket and pull that out, it's vibrating. So he pulls it out, and he's like, So then I think I had to use my tongue to answer the phone. And I'm like, Nick, I got my hands in like a pound of meat right now, what do you want? And he's like, I hope to God that's not a euphemism.
Like, finish and then answer the phone.
So how about that Mass Effect teaser?
I don't know, man. Like, it was a teaser that didn't actually show you anything, so it was like...
It was them saying, we're working on it.
Pretty
That's
much.
what it was.
But, I mean, also, at the same time, though, like, EA has turned a lot around. EA has learned a ton over the past 2 years, right? Like, I'm not one to extol the virtues of EA, because I've been screwed by them a few times.
Yep.
But, after the Mass Effect 3 release, after SimCity, after... the problems that have plagued Battlefield 4, they're really picking up the slack. And, like, of course, Origin has never really gained a lot of traction, and they're really making a solid effort to change both their game design philosophy, their promotional
They're doing
materials.
better than they used to. They have, like, the free play or on the house or whatever it is, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool.
And it gets people to log in and pay attention and start picking up their games, looking at their games. And that's cool. And they're also changing their game design philosophy so it's not so closed and in-house. Like with Battlefield Hardline, they're open beta right off the bat. So you can be like, hey, this is a functional build. You can come in, you can play it, and as we improve it, you'll see what you're getting before you buy it. And if you enjoy the game, you can pay for it, and then it'll be a game that you play and enjoy. But, I feel like they've also learned a lot from the Mass Effect 3 ending, because we heard that, Dragon Age Inquisition is going to have, some 20-plus endings?
It's...
I thought it was
There's 144 different, sub-choices, and then it's something like, 20 to 30 different, major plot point endings.
Yeah, and I mean, that's pretty ridiculous considering
It is
we're
ambitious.
going from red, green, blue to...
Yeah.
What's your favorite color? Oops, that destroyed the universe.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Mass Effect was a great franchise that I feel like maybe was... I don't really know what happened there, right? Like, I know that they panicked a little bit about the ending supposedly being leaked and maybe done some rewrites, and the rewrites obviously weren't so well received, but the extra work they're putting into Dragon Age Inquisition is great. And the problem I have is, who cares if it's leaked?
Yeah.
Like, if someone is
If it's a
concerned about
good, well-written plot point, use it. Like, the indoctrination theory, the groundwork was there. That's probably what got leaked out, and they're like, we need it to be a surprise, so let's opt for this subpar ending. At least
actually,
I thought so.
Corruption's ending was the one that got leaked.
Was it the Reapers eat up all the dark?
No, it was the Reapers are trying to prevent dark matter from overtaking the
Oh, well, I haven't heard about that one. But I liked the indoctrination theory.
The indoctrination theory was
It tied in, the books and everything.
Yeah, the indoctrination theory was actually quite brilliant. It was the best thing to come out of the ending. And it was also, one of those things where you'd watch it and your heart sinks because you can't think of a valid reason to fight it.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, I've watched this. Oh God, what have I done? I have single-handedly doomed the universe. I have joined the Reapers and I didn't even know it.
But instead, Godchild, Space Godchild.
A, B, or C? Which one?
Someone just really liked 2000.
Or option B. I don't care. You're all doomed.
So be it.
Yeah. I think that caught everybody by surprise. Adi, did you accidentally do that?
Yeah, I shot the Star Kid because I was frustrated because
I did the
you
same
showed up,
thing.
you're still here, what's wrong with you? Pow! And then,
What did I do?
I was happy.
You like that ending, Dale, where everybody loses?
Yeah. Well, you
I'm like, if we're gonna die fighting. Fuck that. Oh, we're gonna join the Reapers, or I'm gonna be one. No, I'm going down fighting. Fuck you
You
people.
could have destroyed the Reapers.
I didn't like that though.
I don't like
Yeah, because then you have to kill Edie.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And all the geth that I spent most of the game trying to get to be nice to the Quarians.
Exactly.
Like, you establish that piece, and then they go back and they go, oh, all synthetics will eventually turn on their craters. And you're like, didn't we just solve this?
Yeah, I know. I was yelling at the screen. I just fixed this. What is wrong? Why am I the smart one here? I'm the one who's running around punching people.
But yeah, you guys know what
the previous game.
Yeah.
You guys know what Carption's ending was, right? Like,
No.
all right, I'm going to give you the brief plot points. You remember in Mass Effect 2 where Haestrom, with the sun that breaks up your biotic energy shields when you're in the sunlight?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the major plot point, because the Quarians were investigating dark matter that had been appearing in the star, and it was consuming the star from the inside.
Okay.
Right? What turns out, what happens is biotic fields generate dark matter and consume and deplete stars. Now, where were the Reapers living?
In dark space.
In
Oh.
dark space, right. Because Reapers use biotic fields within their bodies. They can't live without it.
Right.
So they're existing in dark space where there's no stars, no suns, nothing for them to deplete or affect. Right? Which is the reason that Sovereign was pretty much sleeping and hiding. He's the only one there. Because if all of them were there, they would cause the universe to burn out. And so what they were trying to do is they were trying to figure out a way to stop essentially galactic global warming of the universe going out completely. Because biotic fields cause dark matter, and if societies in the galaxy start using too much biotics, too much EZO, that causes the dark matter to sort of exponentially increase, thereby accelerating the rate at which the universe winks out like a lighter that has been thrown into the breeze. And so what they were doing is they were coming through, checking if we were able to solve the problem yet. If we weren't even aware of the problem, they'd kill us all and wait for the next wave to come back up and then solve the problem.
Interesting.
That's pretty.
Zadi brings the science.
Yep.
Because you think it would leave stuff in the Citadel, letting them know of that problem, so that some progress could be made towards it, opposed to let's hope they get lucky and figure out this is an issue. And no,
Let's be real.
I'll
How
take
much
that
did we
over
actually
magic misplaced Star Child giving me A, B, or C?
I'm just thinking of, not to turn this political, but like, oh, there's global warming. Clearly these people don't want to acknowledge it. Let's kill them.
Well, I mean, come on. Established in all of Mass Effect lore, and really just about every fiction ever, when does the Council ever listen?
Yeah.
People should just start avoiding them from the beginning.
they listened to me after I let them die.
Okay, so I wasn't the only one. I'm like, they disagreed with me. I should probably save that. Oh, well, they exploded. All right, well,
Well, I was like, save the Council or try to take out the thing that's trying to release more of his own kind.
yeah.
Even though I went back and played it and saved the Council, I'm like, oh, the ending didn't change at all.
It doesn't change
Yeah.
anything.
I was like, fine. I'm still gonna let the Council die though.
But going back to Inquisition, and I know the game's not released yet, and it's, he said, she said, basically. Like, intentions are all well and good, but execution's where it's at, and you can't see that yet. Based on what I've seen in the Dragon Age Keep, which is in the closed beta right now, they do log all this character choice, and that's how I know, like, there's 144 different, like, subplot endings or whatever, really minor things that'll give you kind of flavor, but the 30 major plot points, like, what happened to your warden or what happened to Hawk, they've got the groundwork laid for, like, an epic story with a lot of player choice mattering and having an impact on the overall ending. But since the game's not out yet, again, I don't know whether or not they could just turn around and do another A, B, or C thing, but I know they don't want to do that, obviously.
Yeah, now they got E, F, G, H, I, J.
Now, all those different endings. So, anyway, this has become the BioWare podcast.
Oh, sorry. But
No,
I mean,
no, it's okay. We all like BioWare here.
But moving on from there, like Nintendo had a really strong showing for the first time in a very
I
long
have
time.
that at the bottom of my list. Actually.
Okay, so
Well,
what's next on the
We
list?
can go in whatever order.
Yeah, just
So we can talk Nintendo. That's fine.
it's already been
Yeah.
begun.
And I literally have the first plot point is good conference presentation because I keep hearing that from people. So Adi, what are your thoughts on Nintendo?
I feel like they were okay. Nintendo has never really been the game company that jumped ahead in the technology curve immediately, right? Like they were always the ones to bide their time, find something that worked, and then use it. Like the Wii is a great example of this because they released it, it sold more units than anything else because of the price point, and it's obviously made out of Nintendium, so it never breaks. And it had games and was easily accessible for kids, etc. And then its technology limitations are being compensated for by add-ons and innovative game design. And so it's significantly cheaper than the alternatives, the Xbox or the PlayStation. Games are a little more simplistic, but now they're trying to jump that gap with the Wii U. And I'm really kind of not impressed with the Wii U lately because I don't feel like there's been enough added on to the game design yet to really give it for it to really add anything to the experience. But by their plans at E3 this year, I'm actually really excited because with the new Zelda wide open world, with the new Star Fox with co-op, where you have the Wii U and you've got one person flying and another person shooting, they've been obviously thinking about this problem for a very long time, and they didn't rush it. They didn't jump the gun. They didn't just throw something out there so they could have something out there. They've been strategizing, which is what Nintendo does well, right? They come up with something, they make it very efficient, they make sure it's fun, they make sure it's executed properly. Right? That's what Nintendo does. So they may not be quite so prolific as someone like Sony or Microsoft, but they know their shit. And by what they were able to show this year, the fans are obviously super excited.
Mhm.
Would you guys agree? Disagree?
I mean, I don't really like Nintendo that much anymore. There are characters, there are like beloved characters that I like Star Fox, and there hasn't been a good. Well, I didn't play Star Fox Adventures, so I guess I can't speak for that. But Star Fox 64, I played the heck out of it.
Yeah, that was a classic though, right? Like Star Fox 64 was the last great Star Fox game.
But they're losing third-party developers because they're just focused on their token characters like Mario. You've got Star Fox. You've got Samus
Basically
and stuff like that. Zelda.
Yeah, anyone in Smash Brothers or Mario Kart.
So they're losing money on the development front because third-party developers are like, well, we're not going to put your character in our games. And I mean, yeah, there are third-party development. There is third-party development still going on, but they were reporting that they're losing third-party developers. And I have a feeling that's the reason why. But I guess that's my own opinion. Dale, what are your opinions on Nintendo? I mean, you were a Nintendo fan growing up, right?
Yeah. I had basically all of them up and even the Wii, but the Super Nintendo was the golden age for me. GameCube was kind of where it started to go downhill, just because it seemed they stopped trying to make new fun games and were just recycling everything again. I don't know, if I had a choice, it would be Super Nintendo games were my favorite ones of all time.
No.
But yeah, it does seem they really want to go for the family thing, even though it doesn't seem to be helping them in the long run. It seems they're always gonna be in there. It's just gonna be an issue for them getting to the hardcore gamer kind of a thing.
I think that's kind of that's their thing, the family, and they're not as big on the whole internet playing games together.
No.
They have that a little bit, but I would say if you want a Nintendo, a lot of the times people get those and can use them as parties, like at the holidays when everyone's at their house. They're very good for that. I mean, with the Wii, they had the sports games and stuff. My grandma was getting into that.
Yeah. No, I heard that they had that at like nursing homes and whatnot. So I mean, that was cool.
I mean, they're doing something that's video game related, but it's just for a wider audience instead of And I mean, they always go back to the same basic characters. The Nintendo fans are diehard for that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, and they got Pokemon. Pokemon fans are crazy too.
Twitter and Facebook just like exploded with just fandom when they were up, giving their presentation. I'm like, what's going on? I was actually walking to work when the conference was going on. I didn't realize that it was earlier than.
They're interesting because they're like a lifelong gamer. You get introduced to the characters when you're kids, and you just grow up with them, and then when you're old, you can play.
Fair point.
I mean, I guess my real issue with Nintendo, if I have anything, is that they don't seem to produce any new IPs. The last new one that they've come out with that I can remember off the top of my head was Pokemon, and before that it was Star Fox, which came out on Super Nintendo.
A long time ago, jeez.
Right? Like, they take 15 years to come out with each new IP, but when it comes out, it's always a hit. Right? Like, because Nintendo sponsored the idea for Pokemon. The first one came out on Game Boy, right? It wasn't a Game Boy Advance game, and it's been going
back to Star Fox. They didn't even have to compete with Microsoft back then because they didn't have Xbox. They just had PC.
PlayStation wasn't even out when Star Fox came out either.
No, I take that back. Banjo-Kazooie was out, but that was a rare thing, and I don't think that was a Nintendo IP. And even then, it wasn't that popular.
Banjo-Kazooie felt like a rip-off of Mario, though.
Yeah, it was the same kind of game.
And then, I mean, you had Crash Bandicoot, which felt very much like that too.
That was PlayStation.
Yeah, and I was saying like Sony had they had a rough start as far as characters go, and then I think they tried to market to a more grown-up audience. So you get characters. I mean, you got like Nathan Drake, and then Joel, Ellie. Those are all Sony-owned characters. They're Naughty Dog. I know. I just listed Naughty Dog.
But they're all very adult characters.
Yeah. I'm saying they're going for two different things. So Nintendo is marketing towards a niche audience, meaning that it's a broader audience. I think it's more casual gamers, family games.
Yeah, true. And I mean, and that's great. But when you've played Ocarina of Time,
the little one with the guys, with the little animals, and you have the town.
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon. They have those ones too.
I've never played Animal Crossing, but I've heard it.
People love Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's where I've heard it from. Like, oh, this game is probably good because a lot of people like it. But I don't know. In any case, even though they supposedly had a really good E3 conference, it's still Nintendo. I'm not like super interested, and point being, I'm not going to go out and pick up a Wii U.
Yeah.
I haven't really liked any of the Zelda games since Ocarina of Time.
Same.
Even though I've heard like Twilight Princess is immaculate.
Twilight Princess is very good.
I don't know. I haven't really played it. I've seen people play it, and I'm like, this seems like any other Zelda game. And yeah, familiarity is good to a point, but I don't want to play the same game over and over.
No, I'm with you. But that being said, they've also tried new things within the Nintendo 64 genre, like Majora's Mask was incredibly entertaining, and it was a great game, especially to follow up Ocarina of Time. Now, it was overshadowed a little bit, but they tried something new.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a lot of that with the newer IPs. Like, Super Smash Bros. First came out for Nintendo 64, and it didn't really hit its stride until GameCube, but, it started on the Nintendo 64. I mean, since the Nintendo 64, I think the only couple of new titles that they really had were Animal Crossing and Pikmin. Which I don't know how much people actually care about. The alien plant men, which you pick up.
Yeah.
She knows what it is. She was just trying to figure out if it was Nintendo owned.
I thought it might have been PlayStation.
Oh no, it's a Nintendo game. You get Olimar in Smash Brothers. He's in Brawl. He's one of the playable characters.
Yep.
I played the first one for Nintendo 64. I played a lot of that, and then I played the one on. Was it Melee?
GameCube? GameCube had Melee, yeah.
Maybe it was, I don't know.
Brawl was on Wii.
I played a little bit of all of them, but...
GameCube and we had them.
Yeah. I will admit that when I lived in Chicago, my roommates and I, we had a Wii, and we basically only had it for Super Smash Brothers. We played Super Smash Brothers all the time, and it was like our... family time where we'd all get together, we'd just hang out, we'd get like a pizza or whatever, and we'd just play a game. And yeah, we'd beat the heck out of each other, but it was fun.
High replayability. That's what Nintendo does.
Yeah, so they definitely do that right. I will admit that. But that being said, I guess I'm more interested in. Well, I'm a PC gamer, so I'll wait till it comes out to PC. But I do like a bigger story, a broader arcing story, which is why I like Uncharted, the way they do their storytelling. BioWare, I mean, I'm a sucker for that game.
There's Telltale Games who are doing like PC point-and-click adventure. They're bringing back that entire genre from like the early '90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and honestly, if you haven't played The Wolf Among Us yet, do it.
I keep hearing about it, so
it is amazing. The storytelling is great. It's not particularly difficult as far as games go, but if you appreciate a story, Telltale certainly does that right. And they've got.
And I know I'm jumping around in my list here, but the Steam Summer Sale is on right now, and I'm sure you can pick up The Wolf Among Us for pretty cheap. So.
Let me actually just check if it's on sale right now.
I picked up season 1 already. I'm waiting for 2 to go on a sale.
2 was on sale yesterday for $12.
I'm waiting for it to go on a flash sale.
Yeah.
It's even cheaper. If not, whatever. $20 isn't too terrible. So, going back to E3, Evolve. Nick is the giant proponent of this game, so I will let you speak.
I had no interest in playing anything on a PC, and I didn't really care. But then this game came out, and I need to play with you guys so bad that I have to either buy a PC or play it on yours.
I have a pretty good PC.
It's asymmetrical. There's 4 guys and the monster. It's just really awesome.
Yeah, that's what I kept saying. It's going to be Dale versus all of us.
Yeah.
And then Nick was like, no, David's going to want to play the monster too. And I'm like, well, let's see how that goes.
He said he just wants to beat up Dale.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. All right, Dale, you get pick of the monster every time.
Awesome. Us versus Dale.
Have you seen anything about Evolve, Dale?
I've seen a lot of it, yeah.
Okay. At E3 they announced a new monster, which is I'm trying to remember what I heard somebody quoted as, I think from Rooster Teeth. It's like a flying mystical squid that shoots things.
It's a flying lightning Cthulhu dragon.
Yeah, so they have I can't even remember the name of the first monster.
The Goliath.
So there's the Goliath Dale, which is like you run up and you smash things. It's the one you've probably seen already.
Yeah, that's the one I have seen.
And then there's the
Kraken.
Is it the Kraken? Okay, so oh yeah, that's right, because everybody kept saying release the Kraken. So they released the Kraken at E3, and you basically put distance between. That's probably going to be the one that you're going to want to play, because it involves more tactical play and getting people to spread out so that you can just destroy them from a distance.
There's new classes too that they announced.
Yeah, they're the same classes, they just play differently, so they have a different play style.
Like one of the trappers has like a dog, but it's like a monster.
Mm-hmm. So you follow Daisy or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's different classes of medic where there's actual healing medics, and then there's the Lazarus medic, which can only bring you back if you actually die.
Mm-hmm.
But then you don't have to wait for.
Yeah, it has like a really short cooldown or something.
Yeah.
So you want to destroy that one, and cloaking abilities, I think.
Yeah.
So you wanted to destroy that one first.
It just looks so good. And I need to play it on every platform with as many people as possible.
And the party you have picked out, Dale, who is going to apparently take the monster.
And then my cousin would probably play it as well.
So that should be fun. Adi, did you play Left 4 Dead at all?
And muted.
Adi, your sound went out.
He's smiling and waving.
Do you know sign language? I don't. I don't know what this is.
It's like we're in a bad music video.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay.
Well, that happened.
I was expecting some Popo Oddity there.
Click on him once.
Click on Adi?
Yeah.
Maybe I can mute him and then unmute him.
He looks like maybe his thing froze.
Unmute. No, I want to unmute him now.
We broke it.
That's not letting me unmute. This is embarrassing.
He looks all sad now.
Well, he's perma-muted. I would be sad too. There we go. No. It's got to be on your end.
Well, that's it.
Wait, I hear clicking. No more clicks.
Loud screeching noises.
All right.
Get him back. He was the most coherent one of us.
All right. So I guess in the meantime, why don't you talk about Destiny?
Well, I pre-ordered a white PS4.
Everyone seems to be dancing in it.
Yeah, it looks like basically online dance party.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
So like any MMO?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Everyone
pre-ordered it.
that's been in
Oh, you know what we should talk about before Adi comes back?
What's that?
Wild Star. Because how much he hates this game so far.
He hates it so much.
He doesn't want anyone else to ever play it. So
No, and he doesn't want you to contribute to Star Citizen because he hates that too.
yeah.
Also, he hates science.
I was about to say that. That was my next talking point, and you were like, "Nope, he hates science."
He really
Can you
likes
answer
it
me
if
now?
you just say really loud, ignorant things about science that don't make any sense, and don't listen to reason. That's what he's all about.
Adi, if you disagree, say something.
Ah! There you go.
His utter disdain brought him back.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're quiet, but we can hear you.
Your rage brought you back to life.
Yes. But yeah, there's a game on Steam right now called Damned. It's a 4-on-1 horror survival game where you can pick up, like, there's several monsters that you can play as, and then there's 4 survivors. And as your monster, you have a gimmick that you use to hunt down and kill the survivors. And it's on sale for $10 a pop right now, and it's a lot of fun. I played during alpha on Steam last year around Halloween, and there's a voice changer for the monster, so I was sitting on vent, had my mic muted, and then I was playing it through Steam, and I had my voice like dropped by like 2 octaves, and I was like using like various like horror movie quotes and chasing people down and be like, "I can smell your fear. I see you, Michael." And like, just chasing people down, and they were freaking out. They were on Skype with me, and so I could obviously hear them losing their damn minds, and it was great. But like, if you want to pick it up, it's $10. It's out right now. It's on Steam. It's
What
a
is it?
great game. It's called Damned. It's survival horror. You can't really fight the monster. Your job is to escape. But it really just turns into a straight up like game of tag where the monster's trying to kill you and you have to try to get out before you go insane or die.
Well, that sounds cool too.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You guys should try it. It's pretty much like Evolve, but without all of the combat.
You said it's called Damned?
That's the part
Damn.
that looks the most fun about it all.
What? I can't. Dead, you said?
Damned. Damned.
Okay, that's what I thought, but nothing came up when I typed it in.
It does. It must not exist.
It's $10. I'll send you guys the details later, but
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got a couple other games on here, but there are only 2 I really, really want to talk about. And Shadow of Mordor, I hadn't really heard much about this game before E3. I know Rooster Teeth had brought it up a couple times. They're like, "Oh yeah, the Nemesis system's kind of cool." And then I'm like, I should probably look into that before E3. I was really surprised at that game. And then you had seen some stuff about it or heard about it,
saw-
probably the same capacity that I had.
I saw one of the early trailers for it. And I was like,
And I'm like, "Nick, have you heard about this Shadow of Mordor game? It's Lord of the Rings." And he's like, "Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, it's okay." I'm like, "You should check out like the new gameplay trailers they put out. It's actually looking pretty cool." And it's basically like you take the role of, I can never remember his name. Anyway, this dude, and basically you and your family get killed, and then you get brought back by a wraith. So you like fuse with this wraith. It's something like that, and then you get these wraith powers, and the whole game is vengeance based. Like you're out to get the guy who wronged you, and you have to climb up the chain of command. So you're starting with like these orcs, and then they work for people, these other orcs. So that you have to basically find these orcs to get to their orc commanders and chieftains and then their generals and stuff like that. And I think you can kill just like random orcs, and sometimes they'll be brought back, whatever, and they'll remember like, "Hey, you threw me into the fire," and they'll have like this nasty burn scar and stuff like that. It's all procedural, so it's gonna be like different every time you play it, and they'll get powers and stuff like that. And if you beat them, I mean, you can like you can best them in combat and then use your wraith powers to command them, send them on like a suicide mission or whatever, and like follow them to execute this mission, and then you can basically have them sacrifice themselves but weaken the general, and then you can fight the general more easily, and then you keep repeating that. But it looked pretty cool. I would give it a look. WB Games made it, so they made the Arkham games. So it's got a lot of that kind of almost parkour, but like the Batman combat flow is what they kind of did really, really well and integrated really well. And it works well with Lord of the Rings. That's all I'm gonna say.
Arkham Knight looks cool too.
It does, and
It does sound good.
yeah.
Actually,
Well, Dale, it's all about vengeance.
I know.
WB,
That's what I live on.
I know.
WB Games actually only made the Batman Origins game. Rocksteady
Did they?
made the other two.
Yeah, Rocksteady.
Oh, all right. Well, I actually did enjoy Arkham Origins. I know you were like, well, it looks just like Arkham City.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was basically the same city, but I enjoyed it. I had fun, and
It was
the
a good
combat
game.
is
It was just
just
kinda buggy.
as good as the other games.
Yeah, it was just a little buggy. I mean, the combat was just as good as the others. It was pretty much the same game ported over with a different story. But what intrigued me the most about the new Lord of the Rings game was actually the Nemesis system. To be honest with you, like
That's
I'm not
basically what I was
sure-
talking about with the procedurally generated stuff.
yeah, like there's a certain amount of satisfaction you get about seeing familiar faces again. And I'm not sure if you guys have played a lot of D&D, but whenever like a DM takes a guy that you've kicked the crap out of, like
Dale's just shaking his head. We play D&D
Bring 'em
just about every
back.
Friday.
and suddenly they're like a badass, right? Has the DM ever done that for you guys? Where there'll be like one token guy you completely forgot about, and you kick the crap out of him and send him on his way, and then he comes
Dale?
back and he's like a level 20 badass, and he just kicks the crap out of you for this one perceived slight, and you're like, dude, it wasn't personal.
Dale, do you have any stories that you want to tell?
You mean
like a dragon?
Yeah. The Black Dragon they had in one of our campaigns was just a random encounter they had, but unfortunately they beat the crap out of it, and then I'm like, screw it, the dragon's almost dead. It's just gonna leave, and it did, and it kept coming back and harassing them until it got to the point where it became so powerful because it ate some of the magic ore that they were collecting, that was used to create the universe. And it became a chromatic dragon, and it flew off, and that's kind of where the campaign unfortunately ended because people had to leave for like Iraq.
Yeah.
So.
Jake joined the Marines, and that put a damper on everything.
Yeah.
that was the best campaign though. Like, it's very rare that we'll all just happen to remember everybody's names, like character names. We usually just refer to like so and so by their class. So like, oh yeah, the cleric will fix this. But we all had like our own character interactions. We developed our own quirks, and like certain characters would get together, and it was like, this is the thing that they do, and then when they're with a different character, this is the thing they do. So we were running a like subplot that we as players had made to Dale's campaign, and he was fine with it.
Mhm.
And like it meshed together like pretty well, and then we had a good amount of combat and a good amount of role playing, especially from people who don't normally role play, like Eric.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's just
Good-
really
good-
cool
good
to see
all-around
the story
campaign.
elements come back into something like the Lord of the Rings game. There's a certain amount of satisfaction that you get from feeling like you have an impact, which is honestly kind of rare.
So, the last thing I wanted to talk about was No Man's Sky, and I showed it to you guys before this. Adi, I can see that you are looking forward to it.
He's gonna hate this game.
So,
Well,
Adi,
only as much
we
as
have,
I hate
we have
science,
our
reason,
opinions.
Wildstar, and
Why
Star
don't you
Citizen.
tell us your opinion on it?
I think it will make me cry like a baby with how beautiful it is. Like, it seems like essentially Minecraft taken to an extreme, where everything's procedurally generated. You get the chance to explore things without necessarily having a story, sort of the way that Skyrim would. But you get to go to new worlds, find new creatures, and then kill them. And I don't know
What
what
else
that
could you ask for?
So Dale's already in. You won him over.
And beyond that, apparently it's sort of MMO-ified, where you can have like a friends list, and your universes are joined. And so every
I've
time your
heard
friend
that
discovers...
it's very, very rare that you'll encounter human players, though.
Right, but the universe is affected by what you affect. So if you discover a new planet, that planet is procedurally generated on your machine and then gets linked into the existing universe. So if I want to explore, I can talk to you and be like, hey, where did you find that planet? And then I can go there.
Well, geez, now I want to play it.
Right? Like, so you won't really run into a lot of players, but you'll zip around and you'll have all the same places, and the world will exist in such a way that you can all explore and find new worlds, and the universe is going to be impossibly huge. There will be lots of worlds, lots of different permutations of creatures. Everything will be changed because it's all procedurally generated all the way across the board, right down to the color of the animal, to the shape, whether it's bipedal, quadrupedal, the size of its neck, whether it's aquatic, land-based, whether it breathes air or flies, or walks, or swims, or everything, completely everything procedural.
You know what's exciting about this game? Other than the fact there are no load screens, because load screens always screw me over.
Okay.
I can't wait to see how I could possibly break this game because there are no load screens. Oh my god.
Yeah, you had some fun.
I gave up with Dragon Age.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that game because of the load screens. I gave up.
I was impressed with the visuals, but I don't know how to feel about it because the problem is I play games most of the time for story. Yeah, like first-person shooters I'll play for multiplayer stuff. But a game like this I would want a story, and they're offering like no story. So it's like it's cool that there are no load screens and that there's procedurally generated stuff.
There's a store.
What? There's a store.
There's a story.
What? That's the story
just
right
not
there.
telling you what it
No, the
is.
story is mass extinction.
Oh.
At the hands of Dale.
That's how I play Minecraft.
So it's interesting that you brought up Minecraft because Jess made that comparison too.
What?
When we were watching the trailer, that it's like Minecraft. Like Minecraft didn't have a story and it's still fun. And I'm like, I think the fun about it though is crafting your own stuff, and I don't think this has a crafting system.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it does, because you have a starship that you can jump in and fly around.
What? I missed the name of the game in the beginning. What is this?
No Man's Sky.
Why does it sound familiar?
They did make an announcement at E3 last year, but they didn't have anything to show for it really. But considering you don't pay attention to E3, Dale, then I don't know where you would have heard it from.
No, there was also something that was kind of like Terraria, but Skyward.
Starbound or Starbound? Is that what you're
Yeah.
Starbound, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was sounding like.
But what this is sounding a lot like is Spore.
That's the other thing I was
Yeah,
thinking of,
because
too.
Spore, it offered, like, yeah, you can go as far as, like, a microorganism and as big as the universe. And I'm like, okay, that's really cool that it's so open world and everything's, but you get out into the universe and you go down to, like, the planets, and it's like, it just starts to repeat itself after a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried that this is going to fall into the same kind of thing.
Well, like, Spore was great in the beginning, but...
Yeah. Everybody loved the creature stage, like absolutely adored the creature stage. And then it got to the civilization stage, and you're just like, I'm losing interest. And then you got out into space, and you're like, I lost all interest.
I didn't even.
Creatures were fun.
I dominated the planet and got bored.
Well, then you could go dominate the whole galaxy, Dale.
It wasn't worth it.
That's the thing, right? It doesn't do it as well as Civilization did. And I'm not sure if you guys have ever played Civilization as like a giant Skype call with like 6 or 7 people, but it is the single most rage-inducing thing. Like one of your friends will take a city from you, and you'll be like, "How could you do this to me?"
It was Gandhi, wasn't it?
It wasn't even. It's like your friend. Like it would be like all of us being in a Skype call, and Dale taking one of your cities, and you're just being like, like Wrath of Khan level vengeance.
The problem is,
shouldn't have left your fate like
used to Dale just taking everything. I was like, oh yeah, of course Dale took it.
I'd be more surprised if like he helped me with something.
What a twist!
But then, of course, there's the new Civilization coming out, where they pick up where Civ ends.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Future.
Well,
I'm
there's
actually
on Steam just recently there was what was that game called? Sins of the Solar Empire Rebellion, where it was based where Jake and I bought it and we're planning on playing it sometime this weekend. Where you start on a planet, but you build ships and everything. You go out and explore the whole solar system and colonize planets and eventually find other races and kill them.
yeah.
That's what you do with other races, huh? You kill them.
One race to rule them all.
It's one of those things where Sins of Solar Empire is very deep, but it's a game that I am terrible at because it's real time. So like I enjoy real time strategy when there's a story, but I am bad at real time strategy. Like I cannot play StarCraft to save my skin. Like I know the mechanics, but I'm just not fast enough, and it takes my brain a few minutes to process.
I feel your pain.
Yeah, so like Civilization, I can do because it's turn based. I can be like, I can do this, 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 and I have a couple of minutes to do it in. Sins of a Solar Empire, or StarCraft, or Total Annihilation, not so much.
I like the story for the new StarCraft games. I'm just not good enough to play multiplayer.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Dale, I was bringing down our team whenever we try to play.
Oh, I know. It's fine.
I remember with the original StarCraft, because it actually worked multiplayer over dial-up.
Mhm.
So I was playing with my cousin, and he had Terrans and I had Protoss. And I had just built this, like, I had all this defense set up, and I built this huge army. I was like, fine. I had sent a guy up to his corner and found his base and whatever. I was like, okay, I know what to do. I spent the whole game building up my army. I took my whole army. I just swept up the map, and I got there, and there was nothing in the corner where his huge base was. I was like, what, where is he? And then his whole base moved into my base, and all his dudes started killing my buildings because I did not know that the Terran buildings could fly.
The important Terran buildings
Yeah.
can fly.
I was like,
Good.
that's the most I ever lost.
The most frustrating is when that doesn't work, which is all the time.
Word. But yes,
So,
two correct
that
things.
about summarizes E3. I'm assuming none of us are really planning on cosplaying anything from many of the E3 games.
Well, I mean, I'm excited to see what they're like, but I don't think I'm going to cosplay from them.
Okay. I mean, Dale, you were considering Varric already, so, like, the new one.
I'll try to work on the armor. I'm hoping to have it done before.
Yeah, my favorite game that is coming out will be the Tomb Raider game, which I will not be cosplaying to the mercy of everyone.
Thank you.
Why not?
Dude, why not?
I mean,
Yeah, Dale wants Tomb Raider.
the only gender bend or whatever that I do is Rose,
Rose.
from Doctor Who. So
No. If Jess can be Jamie, I think you can be Laura.
yeah, that's basically just Nathan Drake. So
It's really funny that you bring that up because Jen's like, why doesn't Nick like Uncharted?
I do like.
She didn't think you did, and I didn't think you really did.
This is just a myth.
I know.
My PS3 broke when I was playing it. My new one's hard drive is too small.
So she's like, I don't get it. It's like girl or boy Tomb Raider. Why doesn't Nick like that? And I'm like, I just don't know, Jen.
It's a myth. It's a myth.
And
I
it's been debunked.
He just kept killing himself. Oh, time to jump off a cliff.
Oh, wait, quick second, guys.
Like,
Can we
Nick doesn't
take a
like
second
Uncharted.
to-
False.
Can we take a second to go back to E3 to talk about Assassin's Creed?
Sure.
Yes.
Are you talking about the whole debacle?
Yes and no.
I was
because-
gonna put that in here, and I'm like, it's kind of controversial. I don't want to be like super controversial in
Well,
here.
all I have to say is, like, with Ubisoft, you really have to be understanding with the whole. When you're getting upstaged by Call of Duty, who's now implementing multiplayer playable female characters,
Mm-hmm.
you're doing something wrong. You're doing it
Wait.
so wrong.
Can I preface this first in case there's somebody out there like Dale who doesn't know what's going on about this?
Yeah. Go for it.
Basically, Ubisoft said, like, people were like, well, why aren't there any playable, because it's multiplayer co-op now.
Yeah.
So you work together, and you can only be a dude. And people were like, why can't you make a playable female character? And their response initially was, it more than doubles the workload, and it does not. from an animator's perspective, it does not. It does not take double the animation. It does not take double the amount of polygons or
Just
whatever.
a few more polygons.
I mean, most of them are in like robes anyway, so yeah, there's a little bit like guys and girls walk differently. I mean, it can be exaggerated to extremes too much,
Dragon Age.
but you know, for the most part, there is a difference in the way guys and girls walk because the bone structure is different. But for the most part, it's not that much extra work, and they were saying we can't do it because our budget and amount of time does not have that in it. And what they should have said was, I can't remember what Rooster Teeth brought up.
I don't know. They had like 5 reasons. They were like, we can't do it. It's too much work.
But there was a second point that they're like, why didn't you lead with that argument?
They're like, we don't have any money. We'll do it later. And then they ran off the stage.
So there was a different argument they should have led with. So obviously the person who was talking about it wasn't as eloquent as he or she should have been. But it broke off into this crazy, like, Ubisoft is misogynistic and stuff like that.
I think people throw that word around.
They took it to extremes, and it just got out of hand. Is I think the best way.
It just sounds like Ubisoft is just lazy.
I feel like they did that so people wouldn't notice that Watch Dogs kind of sucks.
It totally does. And then of course they actively scaled down the graphics in it from E3 because they wanted it to play the same across all platforms, which is, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like, scaled down the entire geography.
I've been playing it off and on for Xbox One, and it's just like the main character is such a creep. It's like
you're hacking into everybody's private life.
Yeah,
you got that from the trailer.
Yeah, but it's like he's trying to do like this revenge thing where like his niece was killed, and you're trying to do, but that's all well and good. That's in the background. Mostly, it's me hacking people's cell phones that are walking on the street. I feel like it's a big tech demo. I don't know. It's like they're like, this is Grand Theft Auto if Ubisoft made it.
What they should have done is renamed it the NSA Simulator.
Yeah.
From what I understood, the reason you liked it, it was a Chicago simulator.
That's the whole thing. Is I got it because I wanted to try and find people's apartment buildings in Chicago.
That's not creepy.
Yeah, but it was like I wanted to go visit my video game friends. And
then what? Hack their cell phones?
Yeah.
Find the NPC that lives in Dale's house.
I have a quest for you. Kill everyone. I will
stop taking quests from Dale.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it though. I've already accepted it.
So I think we're beyond time. Like we started probably 5 or 10 minutes ago, but I'm willing to keep going if you guys want to keep going.
This is like the first podcast that's been coherent.
Yeah, I know.
I do have to get to work, but the Bristol Renaissance Fair on the border of Illinois and Wisconsin is July 26th. It runs longer than that, but that's the weekend. It's a Saturday. That's the weekend I think we want to go because there's that fantasy. It's fantasy day, fantasy costume day, and we're gonna be in fantasy costumes, and I have the day off. So
it's the 26th.
July 26th.
You're going as well.
Okay, cool. I'm going in Dragon Age. Dale, you're going in Dragon Age.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm going in that costume right over there, minus the wolf head.
Hopefully. Wait. I thought you were going to remake it.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. You're making another costume?
Since the secret costume, I don't know what's going on with that one.
Okay.
I decided I'm going to make some armor.
She's making chitin armor.
Chitin armor. Like a wood monster type armor.
Cool. What are you going to make it out of?
Foam. Maybe some other pieces, I don't know.
We have to go get some foam after this.
Yeah.
Well, I can fully tell you that foam takes pretty well to a Dremel, and you can get like organic shape.
Yeah,
you can get organic shapes.
It was like my birthday.
That's all EVA foam, those claws.
Yeah.
And I was surprised how well it took to holding an organic shape like that. So,
Oh, I have tons of ideas.
that'll happen. So I'm gonna just start spamming my social media with, you want to go with us to Bristol Renaissance Fair in Dragon Age stuff, or are you a fan of Dragon Age, whatever? July
And-
26th.
You should do
Go July 26th. And
I-
after July 26th, no matter how hard I spam, Dale,
10 people. I go with 10 people are gonna say it.
10 people.
Yeah.
Last year I posted it a bunch, and people were still like, "Why didn't anybody tell us? I wanted to go. I would have gone if somebody would have told me sooner." Like, I only posted it about 5 times in the past couple weeks.
I would if I didn't live in Georgia.
Yeah, you got a valid excuse. Also, there were people in the UK who were getting upset because they thought it was Bristol, England.
Yeah.
Ah,
Or, well,
You have to
is Bristol in England? I don't know. I'm really bad about that. Like the
I don't
location
actually
in
know.
Wales.
We're sorry,
One of
England.
the-
We didn't
It's
memorize
in the
your
UK.
geography.
There you go.
Bristol over in the UK. So they thought, like, they were getting excited initially because they saw Bristol. It's like, he's coming over. Oh, you mean Bristol in Wisconsin? Okay.
That's like if they got excited because you put New England and they thought you were going to England.
Yeah, I went to get some clam chowder because it's delicious.
Towns should be named the same thing in different places.
And then Dragon Con, Jen is not coming with us. She's
Oh.
made that official. So Dale, we're gonna drive ourselves again this year.
I'm taking a plane.
But are we gonna stay at the Murphys on the way down?
I don't know because they have the hotel on Wednesday night too, and we
Oh.
don't. We have it Thursday,
Okay.
but we could maybe get it on Wednesday
Whatever works. I'm gonna pay a little bit extra.
because I don't work on Wednesday.
Being connected to updates.
I don't think I worked on Wednesday either.
I'm in the parade now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I did.
Great,
Dale,
and
I
I'm going
did
to be
sign
a
you up
ham
for the parade.
again.
You did what?
I'm
I
going to
signed
be
you
a
up for
ham
the
in the
parade.
parade at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
next year.
It's fine. It's not like anyone polices the parade or stops anyone from going on there.
Yeah, that's true.
Dale's just gonna show up and they'll be like, do you have like a wristband or whatever? And be like, this isn't a gun.
Oh,
Okay. Right on through.
you guys were having the
Yep.
problem. I was the one having the problem with the police.
Really?
Yeah,
She was shanking people. It was a whole thing.
Oh.
because I wasn't in the parade. I was trying to get you guys the water.
Oh, yeah.
What? I have no idea about this. What's going on?
Well, you
The
didn't
parade last year.
remember I said I'd pick up water for everybody because last year or the year before we had
Oh,
water.
Yeah.
And I was standing there with the water, and the police officer wouldn't let me walk through to go to where the parade was ending. And I was like standing there like, I have water, and they were like, they have water. He wouldn't let me go through, and then finally he was trying to get people from sitting on this part of like the foundation structure for the front of the building. And he kept telling people to get down, but nobody was listening to him. So finally he was just like, I give up, you can go through. And I was like, thanks. Then I got to take a bunch of cool pictures of everybody walking past.
Including a video with Mr. Adi there.
Yeah, you were making love to my camera pretty much.
Yeah.
Was I? Oh, jeez.
It's
I don't remember.
And then you
WWZD.
the best.
Funny 'cause it's great.
So Dale, do you have any roommate stories? Since that's a segment.
Nick, do you remember the two I told you to remind me about? You texted it to yourself.
Did I? Oh wait,
Alright.
I think I did. I put it in my notes on my phone.
I remember what it was. I just wanted to see if you did. All right, so we'll do the zombie one first. So
Yes, I do. I wrote it down. Just I get credit for this.
I see pants, something, and zombie.
Zombie and treadmill.
yeah. So, anyways, my roommate decided to need something in the bathroom after I was while I was done with the shower. I was getting dressed, and all I hear on the other side of the door is, and I'm like, what? What do you want? She's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, what do you want? You made the zombie noise on the other side of the damn door. Now, she will almost crap herself holding it in, not wanting to go to the bathroom while I'm in there taking a shower, where I don't really care at that point. If you're going to poop yourself, just go. I'd rather not smell crap in our living room. So she's like, I need the diarrhea medication. And I'm like, why didn't you just say that to begin with? She's like, well, I didn't know if I needed it. I'm like, where else are you going to get some? So I just opened the door and threw it at her. I'm like, just ask. Stop making weird zombie noises on the other side. Of course, now I know what she sounds like if she is a zombie, so if the apocalypse happens, it'll be easier.
Just
Yeah.
picture, like, he hears that noise, and he jumps out of bed all chipper, and there's, like, a song and dance, and he, like, loads his shotgun, and...
It's gonna be a good day.
This is like a dark day.
Alright, and then the other one's even worse. The other one, I come home and she's cooking tofu, so the little, like, white cubes or whatever, and there's, like, oil in there, and she's, like, using a little fork to turn them and rotate them or whatever, and you hear, ah, 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 she keeps burning herself with the oil. I'm like, we have an up glove. Use the fucking up glove. No, it's fine. I'm almost done. Ah, ah, ah. And I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you?
I know tofu's soft, but you can use tongs very lightly, and that has a handle, so you don't burn yourself.
That's how I make bacon.
It doesn't matter. She does this all the time for anything. Anything she cooks, she never goes and gets, like, like, she'll put the bell peppers into the little small oven we got, and she'll flip them by hand, and you'll hear, ah, ah, I'm like, just use a fork! Jesus! So, I go and get my laundry, go downstairs and start doing laundry. She comes down, she's like, Dale, I spilled some oil on my shirt, can I wash it? I'm like, fine, yeah, just give it to me, I'll put it in with my load. So she runs upstairs and changes her shirt and comes back down. I'm like, alright, whatever, I'm starting the wash. She's like, oh man. So when she was those Tide sticks or whatever, you put on the oil so it comes out or whatever. So when she's doing that, she knows that she got some on her pants. And she's like, hurry up. No, I'm sorry. I go, hurry up. I'm going to start the wash. And she's like, oh, wait. I'm like, just give me your pants. Don't go back upstairs and change. She's like, no, you'll see my ass. And I'm like, really? You go out and sunbathe with just a bikini on. What the hell am I going to see here that is going to change everything that I've known from you for the last 9 fucking years? What extra half-inch of ass cheek am I going to see that is going to drive me wild, that I will club you over the head, take you into the darkest recesses of the basement for you never to be seen from again except to spawn my child?
The fact that you got so far into
Well, that
that
escalated quickly.
So she goes, well, I wear a thong. I'm like, I don't care! Just give me the damn pants! So she runs up and comes back down with the pants, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what am I going to see? Fuck, the neighborhood boy probably sees more than I do because I don't watch you when you go take your bikini out and sunbathe.
Neighborhood boy.
It's the token child in the neighborhood.
Oh my God. There's a neighbor, they have neighbors, they have a kid. He's got to be around like 16 to 18 now or whatever, and she would complain to me that he would take the trash out whenever she was sunbathing in just a bikini in our backyard. And I'm like, why the fuck do you think he's doing that? He's so filled with hormones, you're lucky he doesn't burst through the wooden fence like the Kool-Aid Man and take you away like a caveman. So, that was my rant or whatever.
We need a jingle for Dale's roommate stories.
I think so. Let's get on that.
Dale.
The roommate.
Oh, so we should probably wrap up. I was gonna have another question, but it's getting close to like I need to leave.
Okay.
And we'd run out like another 20 minutes probably.
That's fine. Save the question for next time. And
Well, I mean, it's just a question for me. We didn't get any questions from users. We haven't gotten questions from users in like 4 episodes. So, if you have a question, you can send it to thelongconpodcast, which is all one word, at gmail.com. Please.
All right, Eddie, what were you saying? We couldn't hear you. You were really quiet.
I don't hate science. I don't hate Wildstar. I don't hate Star Citizen. Just needed that to be clear.
That's fine. We'll edit this in post.
I should. Just make it a robot.
Take those to don'ts. So it's I hate science. I hate Star Citizen.
I don't hate science. I don't hate Wildstar. I hate Star Citizen. Just needed that to be clear.
All right, so we should wrap up. Any last thoughts?
No.
No thoughts.
Nope.
We all have empty heads. So,
No.
Thanks for joining us, I guess.
Goodbye, chumps.
Ah, ah, ah.